At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and it's that time of the week where we talk about the worst that the comic book industry has to offer. And this week, we've got dueling comic books. We've got Spider-Man #4. Obviously, this was the big $1 million comic from C.B. Cebulski coming via J.J. Abrams and his son. We'll get into it. It's worse than I could have expected, and that it's squaring off against Brian Michael Bendis' Action Comics 1025. He's been playing out the Invisible Mafia and Red Mist angle for, 2 or 3 years now. Feels like forever. We're obviously winding down to the end of Brian Michael Bendis' run with the Superman character. Less than fruitful, I would say it's been a complete disaster. And Action Comics 1025, it goes along with it. It's such a bad comic book. But so we're going to compare and contrast. And with me today to be the judge, the final say on which was worse, who wore it worse, Marvel or DC, is going to be the curmudgeon of Critical himself. Pele, how you doing?
Oh, God. Can't we just say they're both losers, and just throw them both in the trash? I mean, this is the shit. This is just...
This could be a tie. These are like, I don't know, are they half-star comics? Like, even when you look at the art for Action Comics, the art for Spider-Man 4 is better, but not that much better. You can tell Sara Pichelli is
slightly
not
better.
Very motivated. Yeah, is not in a good frame of mind on this comic book, so... we'll get into the details, and they are pretty dirty, and I do feel bad for you, Pele. I know you don't go out of your way to read bad comics, but you do it for me and the viewers, and we definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, this is like cruel and unusual punishment this week. It's just
absolutely, and I'm delighted to bring it to you. So I do want to say this: if you're visiting for the first time, and you've been coming around, and you want to see some more comic book roasts, we do this. Generally speaking, every week, but we will skip a week here or there if there's nothing truly awful to talk about. Right here on Thinking Critical YouTube. Give us a subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, give us a thumbs up if you want more comic roasts on the channel.
Yeah,
Pele,
do
give
that.
us a thumbs down.
No, don't do that.
Well, yeah, you're gonna want more roasts. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, you want these. Yeah, then there's not been a shortage of comics to shit on because there's been a lot of shit lately. This is bad.
Yeah, and this week is really bad. Spider-Man has been a terrible idea. When you think, it's J.J. Abrams on a Spider-Man comic, this is probably something that they think that maybe eventually could be put into a movie. As soon as you read the first issue and you find out it's Peter Parker with a claw hand that hates his son and his abusive father, you think this might not be the ready for prime time Spider-Man we were all looking forward to. But you didn't think it would probably get much worse than abusive Peter Parker Spider-Man. It turns out his son Ben is actually Spider-Man in this comic. And they introduced this character Cadaverous. Henry Abrams is introducing a new Spider-Man villain. He's been completely uninteresting, but he became markedly less interesting. It turns out he's basically got Dr. Freeze's backstory from the animated series. His wife is sick. She was working on something. He needs to take her studies and keep working with it so he can bring her back from the dead. So I get it. That's basically what 75% of the comic is just this stupid monologue with this dumb gray and white lettering where he's speaking with some type of weird lisp. And it's just awful. And then they mix in this action. And here we've got Tommy Chong as Tony Stark. We've got an older Riri Williams. She's I guess, in her middle age now. And they're fighting dead versions of the Avengers that Cadaverous has brought back to life.
Yeah, bad.
What a convoluted mess.
Here's Cadaverous dude. And here's what's so bad about the Cadaverous dude. I mean, one thing I noticed right away with this shit is that you ever watched that movie Lost in Space?
Oh yeah,
the movie,
the really
Lost
bad
in
one
Space,
from like
the really bad one.
99 maybe 98.
Yeah, William Hurt. Lost in space, anyway, they had Dr. Smith in there where he end up at the end of it where he's the spider guy, and he's wearing the thing over, he's wearing the smock to cover up his grotesque body, and it looks just like this dipshit, the cadaverous guy. They ripped off, I can't believe they actually ripped off a shitty 23-year-old movie. I mean, this is a direct rip-off. This is a direct rip-off. And then all the little
guys that he have look like xenomorphs from Alien. Obviously, a much better movie.
Yeah.
But I don't get why Tommy Chong is Tony Stark, but whatever. The character designs in this is stupid. You could see Sara Pichelli is absolutely phoning it in. And
he's got a man bun. They gave Tony Stark a man bun, for God's sakes.
Listen, I had a man bun. Let's not go too far. We're not trying to roast me here.
Okay, all right. But Tony Stark doesn't have a man bun.
Absolutely not. This narrative goes on forever. And it turns out as it's going along, he's explaining to her all the stuff that he's done. She's turning into an enormous spider the whole time. It turns out whatever genetic experiments they were doing, Peter Parker's parents ended up getting hold of this. Only one spider survived. Apparently that's how he became Spider-Man. They don't really explain that in here. Wow. And it just goes on and on. It's the worst kind of teenage fanfic. It's the kind of crap that wouldn't even have been written like at the school lunch table. This is the crap the kid writes at home because he doesn't have any friends, and his only friends are probably comic books. This is just really, really bad fanfic. When we get to the big reveal that Peter Parker, Nub Parker, he's got his just one elbow there.
Yeah.
They're siphoning blood on him so they can bring the wife back. Obviously, she's turned into a spider on this one. Yeah. And apparently they're extracting all of his blood from his stomach, Paley. The only reason I can think of Pichelli to do that is because she didn't want to show his balls.
Yeah, she didn't want to show his dick and his junk. It's like, what? This is horrible. Look at this. This is where I just said it's marginally better. And it tells you how bad Action 1025 is. But this is so bad. This is so lazy. They have, again, no inking, no real inking to speak of. There's no values here. There's no light and dark values. It's just shit. There's muddy composition. It's the colors kind of blend together in kind of a bleh, smeary mess, and it's just weak. This is the worst I've seen from a Spider-Man book in a very, very long time, and it's way below even the latest Marvel baseline.
Yeah. This makes me want to go read Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man from fucking Tom Taylor, which was probably the worst take I'd ever seen on the character until this one.
Yeah. This is worse, and I don't. God help me. That's. I didn't think that was possible, but this is actually worse.
I didn't either, and of course it is Marvel, so it wouldn't be Marvel if you didn't have a couple of ladies upstaging your heroes. Because throughout this, Ben Parker is a fucking moron. He doesn't really know how to use his powers. He's accidentally winning. And in the end, his girlfriend, who apparently I don't think she even has any superpowers, she's the marker because her superpower is spraying people in the face with paint. That's what her superpower is. She has to save him by spray painting. I believe that's Black Widow that's been cadaverized. And then Riri Williams puts back on the Ironheart suit and also saves him. So even in this stupid J.J. Abrams, Henry Abrams Spider-Man world, these two stupid female characters have to come in and save the man. The man has spider powers, Pele. It's been proven he's one of the most powerful heroes in the history of comics, and he couldn't save himself. He couldn't get himself out of a fucking paper bag.
Yeah, you can't have in modern comics, you can't have a man save himself, and you can't have a man, God help, a man actually save a woman. So it's gotta always be this way now. And there are no, the heroes have been emasculated, and this is unfortunately it's run of the mill now for Marvel and DC to a degree also. It's just so bad. And it's not only
her superpower is spray painting people, man. They're not even trying.
I don't know. I don't get it anymore. I don't know why people are, I guess I know that some people are still buying this shit, and I guess because of Rick Moranis' son, wrote it, but
I think they're
JJ's
buying because it says
JJ's
Spider-Man.
kid.
Tyler, you
But-
got to explain this to me. You're a retailer. You're a businessman, correct?
Yeah. Mhm.
When the pandemic happened,
Yeah.
that provided a beautiful opportunity to just fucking nix this shit and not even finish it and act like you forgot that ever happened.
Yep. Mhm.
They know that this is garbage. They know this is one of the fucking worst issues of Spider-Man they've ever created. Why even publish it if you got this beautiful, almost a gift handed to you in the form of the pandemic? Obviously, it's been terrible and done bad things, but this could have been the one bright shining light is not releasing this fucking comic book.
The kid, I mean, they've actually been boasting about this series online. They don't know it's bad. They don't know it's bad, Wes.
I
For the love
refuse
of
to believe
God.
that. Even CB Cebulski, in between, blogging about food, knows that this is a bad comic book.
I'm not talking about CB. I'm talking about the creators of the comic themselves. They
I
don't know
think
this is
J.J.
bad.
Abrams gives this shit. He's moved on to his next item.
I'm telling you,
Sarah
they
Pichelli
don't-
knows it's bad. You can see by the effort she gives him in the art. She phoned it in.
I'm telling you, I don't think that the editors and I don't think that the writer knows it's bad. That's
I imagine the Legion of Doom
Oh, God.
probably don't know it's bad.
Oh Jesus!
But
They don't know
this
how
a
bad it
comic
is.
book.
It's horrible. It's the worst Spider-Man comic book ever, maybe, perhaps ever.
Well, one more day you got.
No, at least
Yeah.
that was executed I mean, the result was horrible, but the actual writing and execution of it wasn't complete shit. This is
Probably
shit.
what they wanted. Yeah, this is awful.
This
But
is
not to be
terrible.
outdone, DC is in the running for worst of the week here.
Mm.
Now look at this beautiful page. This is very Bendis, and I have to read this dialogue because it's so bad. Now, granted, the FBI
Look at
is
the
rating.
volume of balloons here. Just look at the volume of balloons.
They're rating
There's
the
more
Daily
balloons
Planet.
on the page.
And somehow it's Lois and Clark's fault for whatever. But we're starting on the top right. While you were standing here, but Clark says mayoral candidate Melody Moore has been murdered by the Red Cloud. This is what the FBI agent says. Damn it, I was voting for her.
God.
How about investigating the murder, you fucking FBI agent? What are you, retarded? Well, let me ask you, Agent Chase.
Darn.
Can I publish this story? She just wants to publish a story. We know someone's been murdered, but she's got a story that Clark wrote that she needs to do. And then she says, what does that entail? Perry edits it, fact checks it, and we publish it. We're not seizing the paper at the moment. We're writing your boss Mariscal Leon's office at any MI or any of these Daily Planet employees under arrest. No one is under arrest, but this is all very unique. Your place of work is under federal investigation. But it was this paper that launched the investigation, so the paper should be allowed to continue its public service. Allowed to continue its public service? That's lawyer talk. Yeah, my lawyer told me to send that to you. Let me do this. Let my team do what it has to do. Miss Lane, we can talk about what happens next. How much does this place cost? Like if we wanted to buy it. I don't know. Who are you? Jimmy Olsen, Daily Planet star photographer. Do you have to buy the entire building, or you can buy just the paper, or do you need both? How does that work? Jimmy, please, agent, can we do our jobs? But if you do your job, a quote unquote gangster gets the profit. Hilarious. I'm sorry, profits? This is a 21st century newspaper. Profits? Who's in charge here?
God.
What the fuck, man?
Is he God, this is derangement. This is like Biden babbling levels of derangement here. I mean, why is Bendis still writing this shit? Who's in charge over there? How did this get on the page? What the fuck? I mean,
this is Jim Lee's fault now. You're in charge, Buster. What the fuck?
What's he doing? Oh, just burn it to the ground.
I was gonna vote for her until she was murdered, but who cares about that part? I need someone to vote for.
God almighty.
So this is very Bendis. This is a Bendis comic. You're gonna get this shit. but it's
verbal diarrhea. Yeah.
This book is supposedly has a bunch of. It is a convoluted mess, but it's supposed to have a bunch of big reveals, and each one of them is more uninteresting and stupid than the next. The very opening of the book, we do see Leon at another time in another place.
Yeah.
And by the time that is over and she's talking to this lady, it turns out you find out she's from another multiverse. Leon's not even from around here. So they're not even going after the correct Miss Leon. Apparently, this gangster Leon took over and created the invisible mafia in Metropolis, bought the newspaper, but this Leon over here on the right is the real Leon, but she doesn't own the newspaper. We don't even know she's rich. But she comes in there and she's charging that Lois Lane is out of bounds because she's not even talking about her. That's another multiverse's Leon. And it turns out she's done some investigating on her own, and Lois Lane is from the multiverse.
Oh, God.
Oh. You can't make this shit up, people.
No, this is so bad.
A big comic book. Now, we do know the Lois Lane is from another multiverse. That's how they brought a decent version of Lois Lane and Superman into DC Rebirth, because they had to basically murder off the ones from the New 52 because they were so terrible.
Yeah, they had to kill them. There was a mercy killing. But this is
now Bendis cares about continuity.
Yeah, now he's concerned. That's what I was.
So he can make this convoluted mess.
And look at this.
Just look at the art by fucking John Romita Jr.
Yeah. What is he doing? This is horrible. I mean, like I was saying before on the stupid Spider-Man #4, you've got the same issue. They don't have inkers anymore for any of the comic book studios. All the comic book creators now, the inkers have been fired. And now you just have this hatching, the same type of hatching bullshit. There's no inkers, there's no light and dark values here. It's all just this muddy bullshit and these little hatching patterns and shit like that.
I think I could make a better page on a fucking Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah, that's what he looked like he used. Actually looks like what he used. You know, this is so terrible.
John Romita Jr. is a legend in the industry. Obviously, his work over at Marvel has been far superior, but this is him phoning it in. He can tell that this story is bad, and he doesn't want to be associated with it. And I don't blame him. But they are still paying you, man. Can you at least make it not look terrible? Ivan Rice is making Superman not look bad, even though the story is terrible.
This is a fall from grace. This is all I can say. This is a fall from grace. You look at the John Romita Jr.'s work, you know, just 15, 20 years ago, and the difference is it's like a different person now. It's a completely different person. He went from being the great John Romita Jr. to be Tumblr level art. And this is just
a little disrespectful to Tumblr art, man.
Well, this is bad. This is just really, really bad.
We will talk about the last big reveal. There's a new villain introduced. Now, who this villain is, this big giant, he looks like an owl. Maybe he's one of the Court of Owls. Apparently, he can absorb powers from superheroes, and he's killed Superman in another multiverse, and he's their in case of emergency contingency plan. We know that because the blonde character told us during the exposition, and then he just goes and hunts down the Superman family, and he appears to kill Connor Kent.
Appears to. It appears like he just sucked the power right out of him. And he's just, you know, this
if anything, I feel good for
Connor
Connor Kent. He doesn't have to be in this fucking garbage anymore.
Yeah, maybe he's gone now. Maybe he's gone now, and they'll or maybe he's going to be de-aged back down to where he should be. You know,
de-age him and send him to the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah.
Wait, that's more Bendis.
No
one deserves Bendis. No character deserves Bendis.
Yeah, how much longer till he's gone? What has he got? Like 3 months?
December.
Jesus, it's not long. It's too long.
That's too long. It is stupid. We don't get a name for the villain. You know, real introduction. It's just like, here's the villain. He can defeat Superman. He can suck off his powers. How do we know that? Because I said so. Right. Oh, okay.
He's sucking off something, and it's Jesus, God in heaven. Look at the legs. Look at the legs. It's got the like goat legs type of, you know, bullshit over here on that panel. It's just what the fuck? What is this?
It almost looks like he's chest down with his legs like like his body's twisted in half.
No, I was talking about the hooded owl guy in the next.
He doesn't have legs. It's a dress.
What the fuck?
Is that a?
No.
What was the thing that Homer Simpson wore when he was? You remember that when he just wanted to wear a dress and didn't want to go to work because he gained so much weight?
It shouldn't take a moo-moo. Yeah, it shouldn't take.
It's a moo-moo.
Yeah, it shouldn't take this fucking long to figure out what the hell is going on with a panel, and to visually take it all in. But oh, Jesus Christ, this is bad.
All right, in my opinion, these are both terrible. These are like 0.5 star comics. This is the worst that you can get. Pele, if you could do it, can you decide which is worse? J.J. Abrams, Spider-Man #4, Brian Michael Bendis's. Well, we got to throw in John Romita Jr. because the art is so bad.
Yeah.
Action Comics 1025.
Okay, the art is worse in Action 1025. Okay, the art is worse. The story, though, is worse in Spider-Man #4. So, since this is a storytelling medium, I'm going to rule personally that Spider-Man #4 is worse because the story is incomprehensible. It makes no fucking sense. It's poorly told. It's absolute steaming shit. 0 stars with half a star, 3/4 of a star for artwork, and then you've got the other, which is not as bad in my opinion. It's one is like a 0 and the other one's like a 0.5. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
they should have just showed Peter Parker's balls. It would have made the comic more interesting.
They would have at least made it interesting if they'd pulled like a Batman Damned and just showed little Peter.
Let it all hang out.
At least it would have had something to really talk about. But this is terrible.
It looks like he's like knitting with his stomach.
Oh, Jesus God. Just let it end. Stop buying this shit, people. Stop buying these comics. Don't buy Bendis. Don't buy Jar Jar Abrams bullshit.
Yeah.
Don't buy any of this shit. Don't.
So bad.
Awful.
All right, Praley, I'm glad you joined me here today. I'm sorry I put you in a bad mood. Well, I'm not sorry. I enjoy it when you come in here and we talk about some of the worst comics of the week. It was so hard to choose between the two. I couldn't. I'm glad that you declared a loser. Well, I guess it's a winner. Spider-Man #4 is the worst of the week. Action Comics 1025 is the runner-up.
Very close runner-up. Very close runner-up, but they're both so shit. Bad. Don't buy either one of them. Awful.